Hello and welcome to you to our programming channel Programming Hub. We are learning C#.NET Visual Studio 2017. In our previous two videos we have learned about data types. What are the main data types in Visual Studio, that is C#.NET? 13 main value types we have seen, their sizes and their ranges in which we can store values in those data types. So today we will learn about the value types in details and their default values. So now see that all the value types we are using, that is the short forms, for example bool, byte, sbyte, char, these are the alias of the main .NET framework types. So what are the .NET framework types? These are the system.boolean for bool, system.byte for byte, system.sbyte for sbyte, system.char for char, in this way. So we can use both these alias names and main .NET framework types, no problem. We can use interchangeably both of them. Obviously the short form will be useful or convenient for us. Bool, byte, sbyte will be convenient for us. Both of them are same. So we can check it out in our Visual Studio. So we have written here, suppose int x or int 32y or long L1 and int 64L2. We have seen in this chart that int 32 and int both are same. If we place the mouse over int, it will show that this is actually struct system.int32. That is, int is nothing but 32-bit integer type. And also if we place the mouse over long, it will show struct system.int64. that is, long is nothing but 64-bit integer types. So we can use both of them interchangeably, no problem. We can also check it with the help of console.writeLine and the size of function. That is, inside size of we are writing first int and we are copying it. Now type inside size of int 32. Now see, we are seeing the output debug start without debugging. Now see that both are 4 bytes long. It is showing that both are 4 byte, that is, both are same. So we can use both of these, int and int 32, long and int 64 interchangeably, no problem. So this is about the value types. And also another important thing is that all the value types are implicitly derived from system.valueType. This is the one other important thing. And also value type cannot contain null values. However, nullable types are another feature through which we can store null in value types. In general, only reference types can store null values, but with the help of nullable types we can store null in value types. We will see it later in details. So now next we are coming to the default values in the value types. So here is another important thing is that for all value types, default value is 0 for integer and integral and floating points, and this is applicable only for instance variable. You can see here I am writing only for instance variable it is applicable, not for local variables. So what are local variables and what are instance variables? Now see here. So what we have declared so far, x, y, L1 and L2, all are local variables. Local variables are those variables which are declared inside a block or inside a function. Function is also a block, that is starting with a brace open and ending with a closing brace. So inside these two braces, what variables we are declaring are called local variables. So C# does not provide any default values for local variables. If we use this, if we want to access right now without initializing this value, it will give error because C# will not provide any default values for local variables. You can check it out. We are writing console.writeLine and write x. Now see what happens. Now see, it is giving a red underline below x. That is, it is saying that use of unassigned local variable x. That is, we are trying to access x which has not been assigned. That is, no value has been assigned to x. So this is an error. So you can see that it will not provide any default value. You have to, or we have to provide the default value manually. So we can do it in two ways. We can type equals to any value. Now see that red lines have gone. So now it is perfect. So it will show 34 for x. You see, it is showing 34. And another way is there. We can type here int p equals to new int. Now in this way we can initialize p. We are calling the default constructor of this main types, that is for int 32 types. And if we type here p, it will not show any error because p has been initialized. It has called the default constructor. And for this, I am showing the output, it is showing 0. That is, we can initialize indirectly in this way by calling the default constructors int p equals to new int. This is another way of initializing a value type by calling the default constructor. So anyway, this is about value types. And what about instance variable? If we declare a variable here, that is after class program, it will be an instance variable. So here we are typing static because we have to access it from main function. Main is static, so we have to write it static because otherwise we cannot access it from main function, because from static block we cannot access non-static variables or functions. So we are writing static int, suppose x. X already declared. So for example p. So I am deleting this p. So now see, static int p I have declared. So now try to print the value of p. Now see what will happen. I am deleting all this. Now see the output, that is, it is showing 0. That is for reference variable. You are seeing that it is providing a default value. For all the reference variable, for instance variables, sorry, it will provide a default value. For example, static bool b. For boolean variable, it will provide false as the default value. Now see, false is the default value. And all the let's see, for all the integral and floating point type, the default value is 0. For example, now see, type a float or double d, static double d, and print the value of d. Now see, it is also showing 0. That is, you can see here that for all the integral and floating point types, the default value is 0, and for boolean the default value is false, and for character it is \0, and for reference types it is null. So now check it out. Now see, type a character variable char c, static char c, character c, instance variable. Now try to print c. In this case it will not show any output. Now see that it is not showing any output. So what is the proof that the \0 the default value? So here see that in this output area it is showing that program.c is never assigned to, and will always have it default value, and it is also not showing anything, but actually 0 is also the default value. So \0, actually the ASCII value of \0 is 0, that is, it is the default value. So this is the default value for character. And also for any other reference variables, for example, suppose we are writing a class here, class ABC, a blank class, there is no function or no variables, so simply an empty class. So anyway, we are typing here that static ABC A. So now see, print A. We are trying to see the default value of A, that is the reference variable of ABC class. Now see, it is also not show any value. Let us see that it is also not showing any value. But again here see that program.a, here in output area it is saying that field program.a is never assigned to and will always have it, see, its default value null. It is clearly showing that it contains the default value null, although in the output area, that is in console, it is not showing any value, but in this output area it is showing that it will contain the default value null. So this is the default values of reference values or instance variables and value types. So we have learned that default values for all integral and floating point is 0, for character it is \0, for bool it is false, and for reference types it is null. So this is all about the value types and their default values. So in the next videos we will learn in details about the data types and the conversion from one type to another and typecasting. So anyway, thank you very much for seeing these videos, and do not forget to subscribe our channel to get the update for our next videos. So thank you very much. Goodbye.